Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry about that. This ever since the creators update in Windows 10, Wirecast crashes if I pick shots, and because I was picking shots a bunch, it kind of crashed on me. But what I wanted to do was look at the this particular i5 processor. Now, normally I would have gone for the i7, but the i7 had a cost increase of about $200 to $300. So let's see. Let's go Control F. Okay, so we have the 7300 HQ. And here we go. So this is a good way to kind of, this is what I do whenever I build a system. I'll come in and I'll look at these benchmarks. Let me zoom in on this so you can see a little bit better. So here's the processor in this machine that I bought for $800 at 2.5 gigahertz. Now, if we look at, let me just fire up the Surface 3 here. If we fire up my Surface 3, which is an i7, Surface 3. And this thing, I don't think, is going to give me back my... Okay, good. Sorry, I'm trying to set this back up so that you guys can see the laptop again once I get back to that. But yeah, okay. So there's that one, and there's that one. Okay. So anyway, Surface 3. Let me log into this one. Now, the biggest advantage of the Surface tablets, in my opinion, is form factor. These are very small footprint, which is incredible. And for what you get for the size, it's pretty amazing. Even still, the Surface 3, which is a few years old now, is a great machine. So hold on, let me see. So the Surface 3, Surface Pro 3, there is a Surface 3 tablet, but it's a little shitty one. So let's see, i7, and we want to look for 465.0U. Okay, so, and we're in the high-end chart, so it may not even show up on here. So let's do this. Let's go back to CPU benchmarks and let's check on the mid-range chart. And there we go. So here it is. This is what's in the Surface Pro 3. And you can see the score here, 4014, versus the i5 that we were just looking at. Let me duplicate this. And we'll go to high-end chart. And we'll look at the 7300 HQ. And there you go. So you can see that's a pretty huge difference versus what I have in the Surface Pro 3 performance-wise. It's almost double, and that's with an i5. And I never buy i5s; I always buy i7s. But like for this time around, performance and cost here, this was a better value than the. But if you have the opportunity and you have some extra money, you can get the 7700 HQ, which is in the more expensive version of this, and that's right there. Now that's damn near what I'm rocking here in this machine. So in my main desktop. So let's go here. So this machine is the i7 4770K. So let's see what that's rocking. 4770K. So yeah, so that's I'm still rocking over 10,000 on this benchmark on the website here. But you know, I'm not that far down here with the i5. It's still pretty good. It's still much better than where I was with the i7, and I have not had any issues running any of my tracks from Ableton. So these little budget gaming laptops actually are kind of dual purpose in my perspective, because you can play games on them, sure, but for us music guys, this is a nice, cheap, powerful laptop. And let's just run this benchmark on here. Hold on a second, though, actually, because it's running on battery. Well, we'll see how it does on battery. Maybe there's a difference, I don't know. But I ran it before, and it came like almost exactly out to that 6,700 mark. So I did get 2 of these, and now I have to rework my live setup slightly because I need to figure out how they're going to fit on my custom tabletop. So, and I have some ideas. Might be a 3D printing solution there. We'll see. I did order a DJ laptop stand. We'll see how that works. I think it might be more of a pain in the ass than what's necessary. And I think that I can probably design something and 3D print it. And if I do, I'll make a video for that, because that would be cool. So this is going to take a little bit, but yeah, these are, I'm pretty impressed with Dell. You know, it's not the hippest, coolest laptop ever. It's kind of big. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of thick. It's not like one of those Apple Macintosh iBooks or whatever. I don't know what they are. I'm not an Apple person, but even like something cool like the Surface Book wouldn't be something I'd be interested in. But again, the price for performance in those machines, I mean, you pay an exorbitant amount, and the percentage of processing power that you get is not very good. You're paying a premium for a premium product, and I understand that. But for me, this is a tool. This computer is a tool for me. It doesn't have to be the prettiest, prettiest thing ever. So this thing just runs through a bunch of benchmarks, including the graphics and all that shit, which I don't care about. The main thing that I'm concerned about here is the CPU performance. Now this thing does need to, I intend to upgrade the hard drive and probably add 8 more gigs of RAM. And that's about all I'll do to it. I mean, the thing is that the hard drive in here is like a 5400 RPM, 1 terabyte drive, but it does have a front end that's SSD, some kind of caching or something, and it will learn over time what programs utilize, blah, 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 whatever. The thing is that drive needs to get replaced as soon as I can with a solid state drive, just because it's much better performance on the drive portion. But in terms of real-time processing, that's what we focus on more heavily with music production, especially if you're doing a lot of things with plugins, etc., and probably the RAM. Now, 8 gigs of RAM is a lot for music. I mean, I've never ran out of memory on my other machine, and I'm only running 16 gigs on there. So, I mean, that's just an example. Not saying that there's not ways that you can definitely do that, but for me, it's never been an issue. And RAM's something that you can easily upgrade in these laptops. So the two main things for me that are an issue here are the hard drive sucks, and the RAM. Probably need another stick of RAM in there, but that's not a big deal. So those are easy parts to get a hold of. Not very expensive anymore. The cost of SSDs, almost said STDs. That's not good. SSDs has come down quite a bit, and get some DDR4 RAM in here, and you're off to the races. So, and even with the way it is right now, it runs just fine. Because again, for me, it's more the CPU was the bottleneck versus the Surface Pro 3. And the Surface Pro 3 had a really high score on the hard drive. But shitty score on the CPU now because it's a couple years old. So yeah. So we'll let it run this this benchmark test. I guess it's not going to let you guys see this thing in full screen. It's probably some DHCP copy protection or something on that. It's just running through this. It's like doing the tree test, and it's not anything special. But this will probably go on for a few more minutes. Anyway, yeah, anyone looking to get a machine to make music on, here you go. These are great machines. HP has a decent one. It's called the Omen. I did look at that one. I just thought that the form factor, I just thought it looked kind of stupid compared to the Dell. So I didn't go with the Omen. But I would recommend that if you can afford the extra couple $100, it may be worth going with the 7700 HQ processor. It'll run you probably about $1,000 for the machine then. And doing that, so ooh, look, black screen for you guys, and I think this is almost done with the graphics test. I don't know how this is going to actually do on running on the battery. Yeah, and I'm not. I mean, the games I play games, but in my studio tour, I kind of have a little corner over here with a Nintendo Switch and a NES Classic Edition, some stupid Sega thing. Those are just little things I have in here that if I'm sitting bouncing stuff out, like today I was doing some stuff for an album, some level matching, and I needed to bounce out like 7 tracks. And I had some time, so I was playing some Nintendo Switch. Anyway, if you play games, these are decent little laptops fine too, but for the purposes of making music, I think they're a fantastic value. So, and that's one thing to compare when you're going out buying new equipment for your studio. If you're gonna upgrade your laptop, your main production machine, check the CPU, check the benchmarks on that CPU, because the other shit can pretty much be upgraded later on if you have to. So in other words, if you were to go buy a laptop and that's kind of your main hub, that's cool. I don't recommend that. I recommend build your own desktop kind of thing. But if you have to use a laptop, be sure you check the specs out. Check out that CPU performance, and make sure you're getting a high enough end one that's going to last you for a while. Now we're doing a memory check. I can see what it gave me for the CPU actually over here is 4480. But again, I could probably try running this again with the power plugged in and without all this shit opened in the background. Let me set this over here. And let me grab the charger. It's a big jumble of wires over here. Plug that thing. Doobie doobie doobie. Doobie doobie doobie. Come on. Plug your shit in. Power. Alright, so I just plugged the juice in. We'll let this finish its thing here. That 4,000 mark. That may be what you get on battery power. I don't know. That's doing the disk check, which is going to be shit. So yeah, I guess I should probably load up the chat. Let's see who's in the chat, if anyone. Normally, because I do these so late, you know, not too many people show up, but let's see. Let's see if anyone's in there. There we go. So that's a shit score, but that's because we were on battery power, I'm pretty sure. So you can see the CPU performance probably knocked down slightly here, 4,480.7. That's a number that we should be seeing that at around 6,700. So now that I have this plugged in, let's hit OK. I don't need to upload that. So what I want to do, and I'm going to shut down Ableton. And I wonder if I could just do the processor here. I'll just run the whole thing over again. Give you an idea. I guess. I don't know if anyone really gives a shit. But I was pretty dumbfounded by the for $800, man. And I get a machine that's almost 75% as powerful as my primary desktop. That's pretty good. Oh, I can hear the fans kicking in. What the F? Oh yeah, you can see. Look, even this, even the processor is just hauling ass over here. And I think something weird's going on with my main desktop here as well. Looks like I might have to reboot that sucker. We're waiting on this. Should be good to go in a few minutes. I can't move this to see what my CPU score was, can I? No, fuck. Look here, guys. A recent Dell update requires a restart. That's the other thing, is there wasn't a lot of bloatware on here either. I think the only thing they really try and get you to do is sign up for Dropbox. And there's probably some Dell service software on there. But that stuff's not a huge deal. And because these machines are licensed for Windows 10, all you have to do if you don't want that shit is do a fresh install. And don't install the Dell shit other than the drivers that you need. So, but again, that's not a big issue. I guess some of the HP machines have a lot of bloatware on them, I guess is kind of what I was hearing. I'm not sure. Maybe that was the Lenovo. I don't know. I looked at like 3 or 4 different laptops before deciding on this one. Yeah, so 5,503. That's still better. I'm not sure where we're getting an inconsistent result. The first time I ran it, after I put all the Windows updates in there, definitely got the weird. Whatever. It's giving me what's needed. I don't know what the hell is going on here. You know, the funny thing is, you do this shit by yourself, and everything's fine. And as soon as you start streaming shit on the internet, everything fucking breaks. So right now, I can see on the stream it's showing some errors. Fuck this thing. Hold on. This fucking Behringer XR12 software is buggy too when you first fire it up. It has to connect twice because it's stupid. How fucking weird is that? I don't know what's happening. Can I just skip this shit? Stop. Stop. Anyway, so the main point again is that this thing does pretty good for the money. And I definitely recommend it, and it works for me just fine. So there you go. All right, so let me go back over to here. All right, so this is my primary desktop. Let me disconnect my dongle of keys. And we'll just close that. Disconnect that. Okay. Whoa, something's weird. Okay, there we go. I'm afraid to click on anything. Okay, so there you go. $800 Dell gaming laptop. Fantastic for music production. Highly recommended. Now, what we need to do at this point, this is something I've been working on a bunch of songs for, I guess, I mean, it's an album, but it's kind of a mini album. I'm trying to plug my keys back into this machine. I just went driving around today, this evening, after doing some work, and there's definitely a few things I need to adjust here. So let me go into here. I think this is the one. Oh shit, that's gonna open in Pro Tools 11. So this track, Refusal, is an older song. When I say older, it's not like that much older. It's a few years old. But it was pre-Pro Tools 11. And for anyone who's a Pro Tools user, you know that in Pro Tools 11, they switched to the AAX plugin standard, got rid of the RTAS. So 32-bit plugins do not work in Pro Tools 11. And this track, because of when it was made, uses 32-bit plugins, and I believe I made it in Pro Tools 9 or 10. So what we have to do is, this might screw this up. This is one of the things I fucking hate about Pro Tools. So Avid, you dicks, if you're listening, this is horseshit, man. Watch. This is going to load, and it's going to tell me I'm missing plugins because they're 32-bit plugins. Fine. But as soon as I close out of Pro Tools 11, watch. You watch. I'll launch Pro Tools 10, and it'll fuck up. And I'll have to reboot my whole machine. And I spend like 30 minutes just getting into my session because I forget that, oh yeah, since this one I need to use Pro Tools 10. Well, see, now it's not, maybe it's not even detecting my audio interface. Fuck this thing, man. No, that's picking the right one. All right, well, at least it didn't load the song, which I'm not sure why it didn't load the song. So don't save. Maybe I'll get lucky. So now if we go and we load Pro Tools 10, what a fucking nightmare. Like, what am I supposed to do, Avid? For the rest of my life, if I need to get into any of these, I need to utilize Pro Tools 10. This is why I switched from Pro Tools. Shit like this. Stupid. So yeah, so anyway, my live show went good. Other than realizing what I just mentioned. Um, the other thing is I have a LED curtain set up in there that does some audio reacting graphics that I create. I'll have to go through that sometime. But the machine, I have a rack mounted PC that I bring with me for that. That thing gave me some problems, and I think it's because the rack unit is kind of big. It's like a 3U rack chassis, like the case. So I decided to build a mini ITX case for it, or a mini ITX motherboard version of that with a 1U rack, and that should work. That should work really good, I'm hoping, and cut down on the weight. But because I think what was happening was in my other build, in the build I'm using right now, it works fine. But the problem I had was I get to the show, and the computer will not boot. Like it boots up, and then it gets like you get logged into your Windows, and like 2 seconds after you log in, it just shuts off. Like it was just powering off, which makes me think that there's probably a cable or something in there that's like snagging the CPU fan, like the cooler fan in there or something. Probably is what's going on. So I had to reorientate the box, and when I did that, it seemed to work. So I'm guessing there was some kind of cabling in there that was interfering with the fan somewhere. So with a 1U unit, it's going to be impossible to have that happen because there's literally no room for that. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay, so yeah, here's the other thing. So since this is old, I had to reinstall Reason 7 because I don't think that Reason 8 has 32-bit anymore. After Reason 7, I think they nixed the 32-bit option, which is horseshit. Again, Reason, propel ahead. You guys been a customer of yours for a decade. You know what I mean? Can you please keep a 32-bit version of this around so that us guys that have a bunch of shit don't have to keep an old version on here? The backwards compatibility in Reason's been really good. I've never had any issues there versus something like Pro Tools where you can't even load. That's not true. You can load an old version, but I've had issues with compatibility before running my old stuff. Like, for example, between 11 and 10. But again, that's a bit version 64 versus 32-bit. Anyway, so I did some work on this last night. I've been working my butt off. I've been really trying to get this album done. It's going to not get done in time. It's been so much work. So yeah, let's just play. Hold on a second, though. I gotta remember how I have to route the output to 7 and 8, I believe. I can't remember how to do this. Maybe it's here. Default output bus. That's probably the one we want. Because if I don't run it in 7 and 8, you guys won't be able to hear it. So let me put these back. And let's see if that works. Not hearing nothing. I might have to do this next stream. Because I don't want to dick with this now. I haven't touched Pro Tools in a couple of years. So, but because this track was originally built in Pro Tools, that's kind of where I need to start. I wanted to see what the fuck, man. This is fucking horse shit. Minimize, you cocksucker. Look at this. Clicking on it to minimize. Minimize. It'll move around. Look at that. It'll move around fine. You can't minimize it though. I don't know why. Can I close it? Okay. Anyways, oh, give me a second. Maybe I can figure this out real quick. Why don't I go ahead and try doing this? See, I thought I switched that. Okay. Now it's working. Sounds like ass in headphones. Hold on, this is why. There we go. That's a little better. So yeah, I'm gonna have to rework this. And I did do a little bit of work on it today, and just comparing it to other tracks that I have, though, it's got some issues. Yeah, so anyway, I'm not gonna have time to work on this now. It's late, so I'll just play out the rest of the track here. We'll call it a night after that. So thank you everyone for watching the videos. I appreciate your support. The channel has been growing, and I really want to say thank you to the people that are subscribing. More of you show up every day, every week. And that's great. So if you have any suggestions, leave some comments below. Anything you want to talk about computer related for music production. I know quite a bit about computers. I'm not going to say I'm like a Linus Tech Tips type guy or a Jay's 2 cents or anything, but I know my way around a little bit, especially with music stuff. So any questions you have about any of that, let me know. Ideas for videos in the future, let me know. If you have any ideas, anything you want me to talk about or look into. Somebody actually posted a question about the let's say the TR-09, using it as the audio interface. It's something I'll have to try. Apparently there's some complaints about a lot of latency. Because I don't use the TR-09 as an audio interface, I don't know the answer to that, but that may be worth doing just a test on. Anyway, thanks again. I'll talk to you guys next Sunday. Maybe before then, I don't know. We'll see. Peace out. They kind of sound like a douche. Peace out, guys. Totally peace out, man.